9th January, SS Birdia, first class cabin, passageway.
I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that.
I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be.
We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door.
He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute.
What is it?
Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go?
Oh yes, he's completely disappeared.
When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. Okay, I've examined that. Oh, did I never examine my door? I thought I did. Examine that, examine that. I thought I examined this too. Am I going crazy? I don't know.
That door leads to the second class area.
It's locked. I can't open it.
No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape.
Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Okay, so I'll probably talk to him, and then I will check the door, and then I will go back to my cabin, I guess. I really wish we'd had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Maybe you want me to throw you out again,
Oh, no, definitely not that.
Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand?
Understand.
Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face.
I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san.
Yeah, probably not. Alright, now to check my door. Or Kazuma's door. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin.
Not our cabin, it's Kazuma-sama's.
Sorry?
Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin.
You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonoga has managed to uncover any new clues. Oh, right, I can do that.
Yes, we should probably find him and ask.
Okay, so now move. We shall never be able to enter the other cabin with Seaman Stroganov in the way. I haven't visited this place in a while. Okay. Let's go to Kazuma's cabin. 9th January, SS Birdia, first class cabin number 1. It looks like they're still investigating in here.
Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonoga is unscathed.
What do you mean, unscathed?
Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you.
Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Is that blood on his lip? Some things are new around here. Yeah, why is the body new? And why is the desk? Oh, well, the desk is probably, yeah. Well, let me talk to the seaman. You, where did you go?
Oh, sorry. I just went to the next door cabin to...
Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonoga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into ball and throw him in cold room. Whew, he's gone back to guarding the door.
I hope Inspector Hosonoga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account.
He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival.
That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san.
Yeah, it could be. Okay, so there's a lot of things that's new to investigate, though. I guess let's investigate the bookshelf. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf.
They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember.
Oh yes, and you tidied them up, didn't you?
You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins lead to damage.
But it really wasn't me who knocked them over.
Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy.
This is where Cosmo spent his final moments writing his diary.
1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled fan is dangling from the ventilator grill.
Looking at his writing here on this page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone.
Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san.
We will. I do gotta say, I am kind of surprised that the translators of this game left in so many of like the sans and samas and all that. Not to say that that isn't proper talking, that is in Japan and all that, but in other translations of this game, well then again, I guess they tried Americanizing the other Ace Attorneys. So I guess that's the reason why. And now they're just like, no, let's just keep let's keep it as much as the original translation as possible. Rules. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Burdia.
Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
So by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules.
She called it her friend, didn't she?
Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as yet.
I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin.
A friend? There's more to this than it seems, I think. Vent, which is, they're probably just going to comment on, yeah, Miss Pavlova's cabin. So this ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin.
Yes, that's right.
And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it.
If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are.
Yes. I wonder if she's telling us everything, though.
I'm not sure.
I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Okay, examine the body, and then we'll talk to Inspector Hosonoga. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilt on the floor, and they spelled the Russian word for wardrobe.
It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there.
But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelt out my name, don't you think?
Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian.
Which begs the question of who did write it. Okay, now talk to Inspector Hosonoga, who is beat to shit. Ah, you're back. Inspector!
What happened to you? Your face is...
Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to.
Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin.
Yes, so I understand. Oh?
Oh?
I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Sherlock Holmes? I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. Cabin next door. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him.
Inspector, has your investigation here proved fruitful?
If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job.
Oh, I see.
Ah, there is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what?
Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please.
New information? What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Buria's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report?
Kazuma-sama.
So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report.
His neck was broken?
Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury, so at first I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see.
All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left.
Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Ah. Uh-oh, now she feels guilty for still being untrustworthy. Post-mortem report has been entered into the court record. A report from the SS Berdia's medical officer giving the cause of death as a cervical spine injury. There were no traces of external injury or death. Poison. Or death. No, he's definitely dead. Let's see what the full report says. Victim, male, Far Eastern. Time of death, sometime between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. Alright, the Great Detective.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he?
Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored.
Did he say anything at all?
Actually, now you mention it, yes, just one thing, but he practically shouted it. "It's shoe polish!" was all he said.
Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant.
It was when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass, do you see?
Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think?
Ah, yes, that must be it.
But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish?
That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea.
What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue.
Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red, then.
Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him.
Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoe as they scuffed the floor? The mark on the floor has been entered into the court record. A piece of a small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim's body. Okay, next part. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head.
Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector, you look exhausted.
Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning.
A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too.
Okay, is there anything else to examine here? Oh, the scuff mark. Door, no. Scroll, no. Katana, no. Okay, so examine the scuff mark.
It really is such a beautiful color, this glass.
It looks like whatever it was has broken clean in two, but the other half is nowhere to be seen.
And then there's the brick-colored mark,
which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about.
I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes.
Maybe, but what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else?
Because he's a great detective, of course.
That's hardly a reason, is it? Okay, that's all I can examine here, so I'm guessing that I move probably to the passageway and then something will happen there. Yeah, and it seems like Susato-san gives hints on the bottom whenever you need to move to a new area, so that's good to know at least. 9th January, SS Birdia, first class cabin passageway.
Ah! Look, Naruhodo-san! Seaman Stroganoff is gone.
Strong enough?
The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us.
All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la? Did you hear that? It sounded like someone is singing. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. Oh. Tra-la-la-la, lira-lira, lira-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. It's supposed to match the music that's playing right now, but
This caroling, I know that lark-like voice.
well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us.
Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can investigate.
Definitely, before that stringy knot crewman comes back.
It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot.
Can I examine, though? Door. I can examine the door. Oh. The detective. Well, let's examine the detective first.
Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look.
Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you?
He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself.
Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay, I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us?
Or he's simply in extremely high spirits.
Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her lock was about. Ah, the music didn't fit that part. Excuse me. I solved it all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! Ah! What is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now, could you put those fists away? That's a really good animation.
Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you.
Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here.
Oh yes, the ship's log.
And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Observe the other pages and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway. And he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes?
Nothing to report?
Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report.
Do you mean...
Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post.
What kind of circumstances? What happened?
That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Ship's log has been entered into the court record. A record kept by the crew assigned to the first-class cabin area. There are virtually no entries from 2 a.m. until early this morning. I think it's for Pavlova, isn't it? Nikolina? Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes Sholmes. Brilliance! Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought.
It's just... well, I feel the same.
Sorry? Everyone has heavy heads.
Ever since I woke up this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing.
Oh, you too? Something happened. That knocked everyone out, apparently. Okay, let's examine the door now. Miss Pavlova's cabin.
This could be our chance.
What?
The burly sailor doesn't appear to be around at the moment. We could investigate every last inch of that cabin.
I'm not sure if we could go that far, but we could certainly do with looking around more. I'm sure we could learn something. Okay, so back, move. Yeah, I forget, what was the situation here exactly? She tends to mention when you need to go somewhere. Okay, that's pretty cool. Miss Nikolina Pavlova is going to come in here as we're examining, and she's going to be like, no, don't! 9th January, SS Birdia, first class cabin number 2.
Miss Pavlova
isn't back yet.
Susato-san?
Oh, where's she gone?
Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can.
I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake.
Not just for Kazuma-sama.
What do you mean?
It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there.
Really?
We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san, by ourselves if we have to.
Yes, we will. Yay, she trusts us now. Okay. So, we weren't able to examine anything last time. Oh, this thing is open. I'll probably examine this last. So we've got the desk, we've got the teapot, we've got the plate, we've got the bookshelf, we've got the rules, the door, that's what it is. Closet, the scroll, and the vent. There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin too.
Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist.
Really? You're gonna do that when we broke in here? She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug too.
No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come.
We don't want them to! We're trying to investigate in secret! Yeah, there we go.
Naruhodo-san, are you there?
Sorry? I'm right here, yes. Why?
Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home.
Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know.
Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes.
I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Door. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside.
Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it?
No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery, using magnets to unbolt it from the outside.
And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either.
I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. And then examine the rules, because we can. Ah yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Look, the SS Birdia's rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean.
I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. She's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine.
I just hope Seaman Stroganov doesn't find it and throw it overboard.
Oh, yeah, so do I. Bookshelf. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one.
Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though.
It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin.
Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase.
I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company?
Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage?
Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know.
Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here too. I don't like seeing things in disarray.
Okay. The plate.
I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor.
Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately.
Ah, do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here?
What? A leak?
Is this ship quite safe?
I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink.
No, you're right. Of course you're right.
She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Okay, teapot.
It would seem this teapot is empty.
So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people.
Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet? I mean, it could be either.
It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it.
You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san?
Okay, time to examine this. There are just a few books on the desk, and nothing else by the looks of it.
Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all.
That's true. I wonder what kind of book she likes to read.
Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian.
Thanks. I think I probably already knew that.
It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that.
Drink some more water. Alright, I hope everything still sounds good. I could maybe turn up the game volume a little bit. I'll actually also turn up my microphone just a little. No, wait. That should be good, I think.
So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes. Although, what a foolish shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Ah, maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night, Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator.
Okay, that's it. So now examine the suitcase. Or traveling bag, I guess this would technically be. Nope, I just got a drop right there in frames. It doesn't look like it's too bad. Yeah, let's watch. Okay, and now the playback. 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Okay, yeah, everything seems good still. Okay, let's examine.
Oh my! Miss Pavlova's case is open! It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Birdia. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? Ah, what's that?
Ooh. A ship alarm.
Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter-mile forward. Full stop, hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact.
What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship.
Oh, really?
What? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san.
A ship crashing? Or I think we avoided it in time, but yep. It looks like we avoided a collision.
I think...
Yes, the ship has come to a stop.
Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine.
Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance.
Oh, that sounds like...
Oh, okay, no, it was Inspector Hosonoga.
Inspector Hosonoga.
Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door quickly.
What? The bolt?
Look at that.
The door's bolted. Did you do that? Did you do that, Susato-san?
No, I didn't touch it.
Oh, is it going to be a case of Kazuma died of... Yeah, I think that what my well that's what it's trying to point to, is that Kazuma died of the ship having to avoid something, and so he like hit his neck on something. But no, that can't be right because of the... Nope, but then why would he write in Russian? Never mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's just continue.
Well, that's strange. How did...
And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again.
Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in?
I better tidy this place up first. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery, at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. To be continued. We got to the next to be continued pretty quickly, didn't we? Okay. Well, we can continue going then.